Feel free to gently close your eyes and let this meditation simply be guided by the sound of my voice. Thank you for arriving here in stillness today. I invite you to just gently bring your awareness to the cool air entering your nostrils and the warm air leaving your nostrils. And before anything else happens, just notice how effortless this moment is. Nothing to fix, nothing at all to adjust. Surrender to the moment. Letting yourself be only your breath. And if you feel the urge to itch, to wiggle around, to stretch, watch the compulsion before you act on the compulsion. Be as still as possible. Deepening your breaths. And now bring to mind a moment when a blessing entered your life out of nowhere, when you least expected it. Something that you really were grateful for happened due to no work or effort or straining on your part. Bring to mind one moment like this. I'm sure you can think of a few, but let's just pick one. And now bring this moment to life. When this blessing came to you, how old were you? Where in the world were you? What was the weather like outside at that moment? What outfit did you have on? Let's involve all of our senses to bring this to life. What sounds did you hear in the moment that you realized exactly what was going on? What smells were around? Take deeper and deeper breaths as you bring this visualization to life. And breathe into this feeling of ease. Breathe into this feeling of trust in the universe. Breathe into this feeling of faith that everything happens for a reason and that the universe is conspiring in your favor. Breathe into this relaxation, knowing that nothing that's meant for you could ever pass you by. Breathe into this feeling of safety, of support. And now let's switch this visualization. I invite you now to bring to mind a moment where you worked really hard for something and it paid off. I'm sure you have a lot, but just pick one. A time when maybe for years, or just months, or even all day long, you worked towards a goal, imagining, visualizing the outcome. And then bring to mind that moment of satisfaction where you got everything that you worked for. Just pick one of these moments, and let's bring it to life. That instant where you got exactly what you grinded for. Where in the world were you? What time of year was it? What did your hair look like? What did your posture look like? Who else was around you in this moment? What sounds could you hear? What could you smell? What did your clothes feel like against your body? What facial expression did you have on? Bring that expression to your face now in this moment. And finally, bring to mind that emotion of confidence and feel it in your heart. That feeling of being able to get back what you give. That feeling of being aligned enough, of being strong enough to know where to put your effort, where to put your energy in order to get a desired outcome. Breathe into this feeling of worthiness, of power, of manifestation. Take one final breath here, and now gently open your eyes. I would love to read you something that I wrote. It has to do with the guided meditation that you just did. I hope you enjoyed that, by the way. My name is Itai. It's great to meet you. I am a solo traveler currently on No Place Like Home, Europe's biggest yoga tour. I'm also a yoga teacher, by the way. Should have mentioned that. I'm teaching free yoga classes in 20 of this continent's biggest cities. Right now, I'm here in Marseille in France. Tomorrow I'll be teaching here, but today I have a story about Sicily. I don't want to preface this story too much, but I invite you to listen. Thank you for being here. August 25th, 2025. Catania, Sicily, Italy. If I hadn't looked up from my phone, I probably wouldn't have even realized I was on a boat. When my intercity train frictionlessly rolled onto the deck of a gargantuan ferry, routed from Italy's mainland to the island of Sicily, I'd already been glued to my seat for 7 hours. Admittedly, I thought it curious when my travel itinerary promised a direct train from Rome to Catania, no transfers, but I'd shrugged it off and assumed there'd be a tunnel involved. Taking the miraculous feat of transportation for granted, I staked no curiosity in the mechanics of how on earth, let alone on sea, my vehicle would arrive in Sicily. Thankfully, my gaze did drift upward from my handheld screen to the grimy, travel-worn window beside me. Stout Italian men in mustard yellow hard hats and neon green construction vests were ushering passengers off my coach and along the shimmering deck of their Mediterranean ship. Behind them, royal blue seawater lapped against the black sand shores of Villa San Giovanni, each dribbling wave winking sparkles of golden sunset rays right at me. The surprisingly serene scene, striking enough to shock a skip upon my heartbeat and a gasp into my breath, made me forget the black crease on my window, the dull ache in my sedentary tailbone, and the boredom of my monotonous journey. I sprang up and skipped to the train's door. As I sauntered up to the ship's top deck, I couldn't stop beaming. My train was on a boat! The marvel of engineering amplified my childlike wonder to a delighted shriek. It was the same awe I felt gawking out the window on my first ever flight, wishing for a Hess truck to appear within my Hanukkah gift wrapping, and gingerly pedaling through my maiden voyage on a two-wheeler. It was a technology-devoted reverence that made the dauntingly infinite world seem a little bit smaller, a smidge more navigable. I was giggling aloud at the human ingenuity. The previous day, I'd been in Florence, hobbling over the same cobblestones that Da Vinci once graced. His mindset of Renaissance-era optimism was rubbing off on me. My imagination lit up with daydreams of floating train tracks, buoyant yet sturdy, modular yet removable, that could further improve this geographical crossing in the far-off future. I visualized myself pulling a quill, its tip wet with black ink, from the pocket of my parachute pants, and urgently sketching my theoretical invention on a tattered scroll, like a true 15th century dreamer. What would Leonardo say if he were on the boat with me? Would he indulge in fawning praises of the innovation, or would his timeless scrutiny perceive, in the abrasive motor of the boat's engine and the rusted metal of its hull, the drawbacks of our mechanized world? Would he lament the loss of intellect, physicality, patience, and commitment necessary to sail across the Strait of Messina, as was customary during his era? Would he judge the passivity of passengers hardly looking up from their screens to enjoy the natural beauty around them? Would he, a master of painting realism, resent the accessibility of abused and misused phone cameras lazily snapping shots of the enchanted sea? Would he be proud of the future he saw? I can't help but feel neutered by our culture of convenience. Architected by an abhorrently self-interested oligarchy, every invention chiefly serves their consolidation of commerce and power. Whatever illusion of autonomy their Trojan horses seem to grant our populace, a little discernment always reveals underlying attacks demanding our sedation and submission. Our technology has been using us. I grieve angrily when I remember I'll never be required to interpret a paper map, carry an analog watch, conduct research at a physical library, or grow my own food. Yet, my inner child, unflinchingly left giddy by my miraculous boat ride, pleads with me to see an upside. He reminds me that when I'm freed from busying myself with outdated tasks and thoughts, I'm empowered to explore uncharted frontiers. When survival is taken care of, creativity blossoms unabashedly, sprouting in the cracks insecurity left behind. All that's required of me is a step away from the omnipresent temptation to self-soothe. Such exertion is a truly rebellious act. An offense towards our normalized, manufactured excess. Easy as numbness may be, it's an honor to feel, to struggle, to improve. May my species' ingenuity simultaneously be my call to action and my permission to relax. May it inspire me to expand and expend rather than outsource my humanity. May I always gaze upon new inventions with one eye glistening in gratitude and the other scanning with skepticism. May our prideful progress forever bow at the feet of nature's modest miracles. Thank you for listening to that little journal entry that I wrote on the boat ride from Rome to Sicily. Now I have some questions for you. How can we prevent technology from using us? How can we use it as a tool instead? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about all these questions. Let's start a discussion. Second question, why do we romanticize past periods of history? Why do people say things like, I was born in the wrong generation? Why do we look upon the past, whether in our own personal memory or in global history, with rose-tinted lenses, rather than seeing it with nuance? Third question, what do we predict will be the long-term effects of cell phones? 80 years from now, what will be the legacy of cell phones? Will they be remembered as a technological tool or a dangerous drug? This is what's been on my mind. I'm here in Marseille now, about to go swim in the ocean, wishing you nothing but peace and love. May everything you do today be easeful or excitingly challenging. May we always revere the work, and may we always be in absolute gratitude for the blessings that just come to us. I love you, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Just remember you're exactly where you need to be. I know it's not easy to be in this world, but remember that Earth is a PhD university for souls. We're sent here to learn how to deal with challenges, learn how to persevere. We're sent here to get stronger, to get smarter. And you are so smart, you are so strong, you are on exactly the right path. Nothing that's meant for you could ever pass you by. And everyone in your life is lucky to have you. I'll catch you next time. Peace and love.